Commander Eva Rostova often gazed at Earth. It hung like a blue marble in the black sky. Dr. Jian Li, their science officer, did too. Pilot Marcus McColl also watched it. They were 7 months into a 9-month mission. Their ship, the Odyssey, was their tiny world, floating far above everything they knew. The view was always breathtaking, a constant reminder of home. The mission had been routine until recently. Then, a change began. A growing unease settled in the quiet hum of the station. Earth looked the same from up here, so beautiful, so peaceful. But the silence from mission control felt different. This was a deeper void, a silence that whispered of problems far below. Problems they couldn't see, only feel. Their lifeboat, but where could it take them? The mission, officially named Endurance, launched with great optimism. It carried the hopes of many nations. Its primary purpose was to test new life support systems. These systems were designed for future long voyages, journeys to Mars, and perhaps beyond. They also aimed to study human adaptation to deep space conditions. For 9 long months, they would be the subjects, testing resilience, pushing boundaries. Part of their work involved deploying advanced climate monitoring satellites. These weren't just ordinary satellites, they were a new generation, designed to give us the clearest picture yet of Earth's changing environment. The crew, Eva, John, and Mac, performed these tasks flawlessly. In the early months, everything went according to plan. Each spacewalk, each experiment was a success. They were a good team. News from Earth, once a constant stream of data and voices, became patchy, garbled. Then, it simply stopped. The solar flares were relentless. They pummeled the planet's magnetic field. They wreaked havoc on communication networks worldwide. The vibrant blue planet below, seen from their window, looked serene, deceptively peaceful. It was hiding a new, silent reality from its distant observers, a world struggling to speak. Mission Control's updates, usually so clear and reassuring, became distorted whispers, fragments of sentences. Then, nothing but static. The crew tried every communication channel. They boosted signals. Days bled into weeks, weeks of unnerving silence from below. The crew of the Odyssey clung to their routine. It was their anchor in a sea of uncertainty. They performed their scheduled tasks. They meticulously maintained the station's systems. They exercised. But a heavy, unspoken tension filled the modules. The silence from Earth was a constant, deafening presence. It echoed in every corridor. Occasionally, a faint, garbled signal would pierce the static, a fleeting fragment of a news broadcast. A few distorted words from an unknown voice. These brief, tantalizing moments offered little comfort. In fact, they often deepened the anxiety. They hinted at widespread disruption on the planet, power outages, global uncertainty. Living in space for an extended period is a challenge. Even when everything on Earth is fine, the human body is designed for gravity. It protests when deprived of it. Muscles begin to weaken. Bones lose their density. Without that constant familiar pull downwards, you change, you adapt in some ways, but you also degrade in others. It's a trade-off. The crew of the Odyssey exercised rigorously every single day, 2 hours, sometimes more, strapped to treadmills that used bungee cords for resistance, clamped into cycling machines, pushing against specialized resistance devices. It was a constant, tiring fight against physical atrophy, but it was also a mental battle. The monotony of the routine, the confinement of their metal home. The Odyssey was their entire world, and it was a small one. The psychological strain of their situation was immense. Isolation is a powerful, insidious force. It can play tricks on the mind. It can warp your perception of time. It can breed despair if you let it. They were 3 people, utterly alone, separated by millions of miles of vacuum from any other human soul. The weight of that aloneness was heavy, heavier than any G-force. They found ways to cope. Small rituals became profoundly important. Shared meals were no longer just for sustenance. They were moments of connection, of normalcy. They told stories from their pasts. They played music. Their supplies were finite. They had stretched them carefully, but the red lines on their inventory charts were approaching critical levels. The 9-month window for their planned mission was now behind them. They had to make a terrible decision. Wait longer, consuming their remaining resources, hoping for a miraculous restoration of contact, or attempt a return to Earth on their own, a risky unassisted re-entry. After days of intense, round-the-clock calculation and heated debate, they reached a consensus. They would try to return. It was their only remaining chance. A slim one, perhaps, but a chance nonetheless. The Odyssey possessed a small landing module, but it was designed for a fully guided re-entry. With constant telemetry and support from mission control, they would have to fly it manually, a feat rarely attempted. The descent through Earth's atmosphere was terrifying. Communications were still completely out. They were effectively flying blind, relying solely on their years of training, on Mac's exceptional skill as a pilot. They landed far off course, not in the designated recovery zone in Kazakhstan, but in a remote, desolate stretch of Australian outback. The silence after the violent crash landing was profound, deafening. Then, Eva managed to unstrap and force open the charred hatch. The air that rushed in, the smell of dust, of eucalyptus, of earth. It was overwhelming. They had made it. They were alive. Rescue teams, alerted by faint emergency beacons, eventually found them. Days later, the world they returned to was indeed changed, still recovering from the widespread disruption caused by the solar flare crisis, but it was home. The simple joy of seeing other human faces, the profound relief of safety. It was an emotion too powerful for words. Tears flowed freely.